In 3, 2, 1.
Then to you I say arigato. That's Japanese for thank you.
I invented chicken.
The morning stream, 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 the morning stream.
This is the Morning Stream. We're doing it for Kowalski.
Morning stream, the morning stream, the morning stream, the morning stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the morning stream. It is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. I'm Scott Johnson. He's Brian Ibbett. Good morning.
All of these things are true. For Kowalski!
For Kowalski, never forget, never surrender. He was really the best of us, Brian. Kowalski was.
He was both the best of us and the worst of us.
That's true. Yep.
And also the most Polish sounding of all of us.
Yeah, of all of us, if we had to have someone who sounded like a Polish guy, Kowalski. He was our guy.
It was definitely Kowalski.
Anyway, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. We're going to do one today. We got stuff to do, things to discuss. We got guests to have. We got news to cover. It's going to be a great day. We haven't had news in like 3 days because of long trivia things. But
right. That's right, yes.
But today is not that day. Today we will get to that news.
We actually have news, and we will get to it. It's Super Tuesday, Scott.
Oh, yeah. Good luck, everybody, in the Super Tuesday battle off there. What do you got a prediction? What do you think's who's gonna pull out and win there?
I think Biden is going to ride the wave of support that Boot Edge and Klobuchar have given him.
Klobuchar, find He-Man.
Klobuchar. Is Utah one of the Super Tuesday states? Colorado is. We did the early mail-in voting.
Yes, we vote today, so I will be voting today. Today I'm voting.
So you go and do it. See, the good thing about you going and doing it today is that you get an updated list of candidates.
Right.
When we did our mail-in vote, Yang was on the ballot, Buttigieg, Klobuchar.
Yeah, that's the problem with the early voting. Your early voting for this stuff seems really dumb to me because
it does.
Not dumb.
Because what do they do with those votes? Do they just say, "Well, there's a vote for Buttigieg"?
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah. I guess you just chuck it. You don't do anything with it. That's just real weird. But anyway, it's the superest of Tuesdays, everybody. So get yourselves together and.
Fat Tuesday last week, Super Tuesday this week. What's next week, Scott? What is Tuesday next week?
Next Tuesday is Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's also
Super Fat Taco Tuesday.
Super Fat Taco Tuesday. That sounds about right. All right. Hey,
all right. I'm kind of into it now.
I like it.
March 10th, everybody, Super Fat Taco Tuesday.
Super Fat Taco Tuesday. But then how do you follow that up the next Tuesday? What's that?
Super duper fat taco. I don't know.
Oh, Lord. I know. Super Fat Taco Tuesday 64. That's the next week.
Very good. Yes.
That's how these things go.
What was their technology that you bought that little
the Rumble Pack?
Plugged into?
Was it the Rumble Pack?
Yeah, Rumble. Was it Rumble Pack? I thought there was another thing that you bought that you plugged into the actual 64 that gave it a faster processor deal.
No, you're right. It had like a faster little video chip, and it was called the Turok used it.
Yes, right.
Was it the RAM Pack?
Was it just a RAM Pack? I thought it was something more than that. It was like not the Rumble Pack.
It's not Rumble Pack. It's not
All right,
RAM Pack.
Now
Shoot.
I have to do this for you, people. I have to go and search the web for.
Yeah, what was that called? Just Expansion Pack? It was Expansion Pack with no C in pack.
Really?
Yeah, that was it. Nintendo 64 expansion pack. It had 4 megabytes of additional RAM, which made it so the games could, show more and do more. So it wasn't actually a video upgrade, I guess. Oh, there it is.
Jumper Pack.
There it is. Oh, Jumper.
The Jumper Pack.
Was it called a Jumper Pack?
Yeah, the Jumper Pack plugs into the console's memory expansion port. Jumper Packs. Oh no, that was.
So all right, in Japan. They called it.
No, there it is. It is the expansion pack, the 4 megabyte memory expansion pack. Because I remember that red cheese grater top to it.
Yeah, you'd shove that in there, and it would like. Oh, so it wasn't even in the. It wasn't even in the cartridge slot. It was its own slot.
No, it was like you pulled a little port off of the back of the Nintendo 64.
That's right.
Jam that baby in there.
There
I think it was. I want to say it was like $50 or something.
It was. Oh, I don't know what did it cost back in the day.
Yeah.
I feel like I paid more for that than that.
Maybe 75.
I can't believe I bought it. I had one of these. Turok wasn't worth it.
Now,
It wasn't that
$39.99 on the DK Oldies site,
Yeah.
original price. But I don't think that's the original price.
No. I think I'll bet it was something closer to. Well, it wouldn't have been over $100, right? No way.
No, because
Yeah.
the console itself, it seems like was what
The console's like 129 or something.
129,
130,
or
150 maybe.
something.
Yeah. Well, those were the days.
Anyway, the day.
That was a sturdy mother scratcher. That console. It's ugly as hell,
was.
but it is a beast. Like that thing, you could throw it in the street and it would just survive.
and I liked the three-legged controller idea as like, all right, you can use these two to play this game, and then use these two to play this game, and then these outside two to play this other game.
Yeah, it was kind of cool in its own weird.
Maybe what we need is for future Sony or Microsoft controller to be basically a circle with a whole bunch of things sticking out the outside, and you just keep rotating the controller to whichever. Oh, I need a dial and 3 buttons for this one. I'll use this one right here.
Perfect. We've created a whole new market for Nintendo. They didn't even know they had.
Oh man, I know. I think I'm going to make that, Scott. I'm going to kickstart it.
All right, let me know how it goes. I'll be your first supporter on there.
It'll be USB port. No, it'll have to be wireless. Damn it.
Oh yeah, it'll have to be.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, it'll have to be Bluetooth. Oh, now the money's starting to pile up. It's going to get
exactly.
expensive.
Oh no, and now Chinese delays.
Oh no, nobody can do the Chinese delays. Everything's delayed in China. Ah! My neighbor went yesterday to the Costco and just bought everything they had, man. Just
Really?
everything.
Water and
Yep, cleared them out.
Purell and
Bought all the stuff. It seems to be a bit of a thing. Also, emergency rate cuts from the Fed today. Like everybody's reacting. It's getting gnarly. It's getting a little intense out there.
You know what? I don't have a worry in the world because Vice President Mike Pence is on the case.
Oh wait, isn't he that guy that was in the NASA place and I had a giant sign that says "Please don't touch this," and then he reached out and touched it anyway? Was that the guy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it'll be fine.
The Space Force will kill coronavirus, Scott, with their Star Trek logo. I'm predicting it right now. It's going to happen.
Okay. Well, he can pray. Maybe he could pray.
That's right. Yes.
What else could he do? Oh, he could blame.
Anyway.
He could
Oh,
blame.
you know what?
You know what he could do?
We can kind of dance on the politics edge.
We could. It's Super Tuesday. We have to be able to do it a little bit today.
That's right. Yes.
Maybe he'll blame it on the gays. Maybe he'll do that. All right, moving on. Hey, I got a weird thing that happened yesterday, and I just thought I would share it because we live in a time where cancel culture, as they call it, is a thing. It's a thing. Yeah. Somebody does something you don't like, you're like, I'm quitting you, and that's the end of that, right?
Yes, right. Unless you're Brokeback Mountain, then I don't know how to quit you.
He doesn't know how to cancel him. So that'd be great if they remade it today. It's I can't cancel you. That's what he'd say.
I wish I knew how to Control Alt Delete you.
Reboot him. Anyway, so I got this comic, this Fred and Can business.
Yes,
where
I've heard you mention that.
Yeah, a single guy living with a can of expired cream corn.
Right.
Who apparently talks to him and talks back and forth, and they kind of have this relationship, but nobody else really can hear it talk. So maybe Fred's crazy, maybe he's not. That's the story. It's a weird comic. You should read it. FredCanComic.com. Now, here's the part I wanted to get to, the cancellation part. I got an email yesterday, a long one, wherein I won't say his name because I'm not here to, throw out dirty laundry. Basically, somebody is quitting me all of the things I do, he says. Everything I do and make, he is canceling in his life.
Wow.
Because of my misrepresentation of how CBD oil works in the latest Fred and Can comic. Now, in the comic itself, Fred or Can is, without any explanation, is having a kind of a trip. And you can't really tell why. It's psychedelic behind him. In the final or the third frame, his can is twisting all up into a weird shape, and it looks like he's kind of exploding outward, and he's describing an existential trip through the cosmos. And at the end,
that panel, by the way, it reminded me a little bit of Jack Kirby.
Oh, the breaking apart thing with the dots
the twisting
and stuff.
Around, and little Jack Kirby, even a little Steve Ditko.
Oh, interesting.
Mysterio era Steve Ditko.
I can totally see that now that you say it. So anyway, that's happening, And at the end, it turns out Fred is Can is just sitting on a table like always, and the final frame is him on a table by a lamp, and Fred's digging through a cupboard and saying, "Have you seen my CBD oil?" While Can continues to have his little trip. The joke is that Can somehow got into the CBD oil and is having a bit of a trip. Now, here's the thing I already know. I know that there's not THC in CBD oil. I know that people aren't going to have these kinds of trips. But it's about a can of expired cream corn who may or may not be real, who is experiencing this trip. And this guy took this so seriously, my representation of CBD oil so seriously, that he has quit everything I do. He has essentially banned me from the internet. And not in a joking way. He was serious. He's like, wow. I'm canceling all the shows. I'm taking off all my subscriber stuff. I can't deal with somebody who misrepresents how the science behind CBD oil works. I can't support someone who does that.
Does he work for Big CBD? Like, people have been vilifying CBD oil and confusing it with weed gummies for too long, Scott, and this has to end here and it has to end now.
Maybe that's he's got some stake in all this. I don't know. Maybe, but my point to him was the comic is about a expired can of sentient cream corn. In fact, I don't even know if the can's sentient or the corn is. Like, we don't know enough about him to even know about that. If he's listening, and I bet he is, by the way, I don't even know what to say to you. I don't know what to say. What do we say to somebody like that? I don't know what to say. It's a joke. It's not meant to...
Reminds me of a letter I sent a while back. Dear Gary Larson, cows cannot stand up, smoke cigarettes, and say the word car when they see a car approaching. I'm done with the Far Side. Good day, sir.
Good day. This is science most foul. Yeah, so I'm just not going to talk to him. I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to reply. Like, how do you reply to that? That's an insane amount of anger over a thing that is... does he do this with other stuff? Like when, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good example. The Simpsons they make you think everyone's yellow. Well, they're not yellow, and sir, I've quit Fox and all of its content because the Simpsons are yellow. Like, what do you do?
Right, exactly. I don't think you can do anything. I think all you can do is say, I guess the CBD oil isn't mellowing. Let me try this one more time, Scott.
Okay, go for it.
Because I want to sell it.
All right, I'm ready.
Well, I guess all you can say is, I guess the CBD oil isn't mellowing him out.
Hey.
Yeah, hey.
We got it. We did it. Good job. Anyway, I just wanted to get that dude out of my system because, man, what a pisser.
Yeah, maybe he's having a bad trip because it's expired cream corn.
Maybe none of this. Maybe the can's not really there, and this is all in Fred's imagination,
really there, right? I mean,
the can's there.
We know the can's there.
The can is physically there, but
we just don't know if it's sentient or not.
We don't know if he's real.
Fully believes that he's sentient.
Right. Fred is 100% on board with him being a sentient can of expired cream corn. So we'll see if this gets addressed.
Scott's next comic is going to feature Fred and Can discussing the death of Mikey from Life Cereal, who OD'd on Pop Rocks and Pepsi.
I mean, I do have a really wicked ending for the thing some years from now. I have a really? Yeah, and it would really tear people a new one, and I'm not ready to divulge it.
Okay,
yeah, but it'll be. We'll see if I can, if I can build up enough love for the characters over time. We'll see if I drop that bomb or not, because it could be. Okay. It could be
All
something.
Right. By the way, I mean we've already seen me make sort of an appearance on the cartoon. The can is Brian Dunaway, isn't it? Between you and me, the can is really Brian Dunaway.
Well, technically the expired cream corn part, but yes.
not the shell of the can,
no,
but
not
the contents.
Of the can. Exactly. And by the way, that character, I haven't decided what to name you yet, but you'll appear there again. You're not a one-off. You're going to be a regular. When Fred ventures outside his doors, he will often run into this guy. So
can that guy be coming back from the gym at some point?
Can he come back from the gym and just be all svelte and buff?
Coming back from stomach stapling surgery, or
Sure, why not? Benjamin says it should be Ryan Abbott. That's not bad.
Ryan Abbott, yeah.
No, how about Ryan Abbotson?
Burnham Ibbett.
Yeah, Burnham Ibbett.
Burnham Ibbett.
Your name could be Burnham. I can make your last name Burnham. I don't know. I got to workshop it, but
Sure.
we'll see.
Sure.
All right, there's that. Then also, I wanted to dedicate today's show, including my anger rant about guy who quit me
You
because
get
of
it
CBDOL.
all. When you get the dedication, you get all the nuts and soap.
That's right. We want to dedicate today's episode to Mark, aka Curly from Boston. He wrote in and says hey there, I had a request for you on Twitter. I'm CurlyQ70, asking for a shout out on my 50th. He turns 50 today.
Wow.
Woo!
Happy birthday, man. That's awesome.
Welcome
to the 50 Club.
Yep, welcome to the party, buddy. Just look at it this
party,
way.
officer.
If this was 1820, we'd all be dead by now because nobody lived past 25 back then. So welcome.
Enjoying my later years of 50.
He says the date is March 3rd. I've been listening to you guys for about 7 years, and you are all the closest thing to my people I've ever come in contact with.
I like the first way of saying it better. Closest thing to people.
Yeah, we're pretty close to being like people.
Yeah.
He says, I'm grateful for all that you do for the Tadpole, and I hope we are around for many, many more years. If it's not too late, could I request the happy birthday song from 16 Candles? That may be a different day.
Yeah. I think he's looking for the happy birthday from Karate Kid.
Oh, is that the one? Wait.
Happy birthday.
Oh, is that what he means?
I think that's what he means. I
Oh.
think he might be thinking it's sung by Long Duck Dong, but really it's sung by Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
Neither one of them
No.
an Asian stereotype of any sort.
No, I wasn't even going to say it, but you're right. It's good that you said it. Okay, here it is.
Happy birthday.
All right, there you go. Happy birthday.
YouTube will never find that one.
You have never dinged me on that one. They've never got me on that one.
That's never been a problem?
No,
Cool.
Short enough, I guess. Weird enough. Maybe the studio who owns it doesn't care. I don't know. YouTube, you never know what you're gonna get.
Oh right, Matuba. No, but he's saying the Beatles' birthday, the Beatles' birthday song, not the Linda Hill. Linda Hill?
Say it's your birthday. That one. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one he's saying. He's saying the Beatles.
I only have. You know what? For Curly, I'm going to play the remaining files I have that have the word birthday in them. Okay. So here's one here.
Cool.
When's your birthday?
Okay. That's today. Today's your birthday. How about this one?
Will you light a candle and remember me on my birthday?
Okay. All right. How about this one?
I can't believe this. They f***ing forgot my birthday.
Now that's from
That's
16
16
Candles.
Candles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right. And then this one. That just says annoying
Wow.
birthday prank. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so Curly, we hope you have a great one, dude.
Happy
Go,
birthday, Curly.
yeah, go party and don't.
He's
stay up
a
too late.
very frequent tweeter to us, and I love the stuff he says.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We like
Yeah.
him. Final email came from Corey. Wrote in and says his subject line was Tom Nook, from the Animal Crossing business.
Sure. How long do we have, Scott?
Let's see. I don't have an exact time, but it's the 20th. So what's today? The 3rd. So we got 17 days.
There we go. Good.
Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
He says, hey, Scott and Brian, you were talking about how greedy and grimy Tom Nook is, and you aren't alone in this thought, but I'm here to defend him. And other landlord or mortgage companies,
What
defend
other?
him. What other landlord or mortgage companies tells you let me tell you this, that you can pay back your loan at whatever rate or as slow as you need and with no interest. On top of that, when you pay him off, he gives you an addition, and the same rules apply. This is very generous and unheard of. So why all the hate? Love the show, though, Corey. I mean,
good point.
okay, sure. But the thing is, in that game, you can't do anything without that dude fronting the bill.
Right. Right.
And so no matter what it is, he's like, you can't do that until I give you cash to then go buy a thing, so then you can do the thing.
Yeah, but all right, it's like Smelly Tony in Grand Theft Auto or whatever the guy's name is that gives you all the jobs to do.
There's Gay Tony in Grand Theft Auto 4.
Is it Gay Tony? Okay, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the mafia gangster guy, the first one you come in contact with in the nightclub.
It's not a Rigatoni chat room.
Smelly Tony.
My memory is in Grand Theft Auto 3, which was the first 3D one, the first blowout one. That my memory was you, the protagonist, never said a word, but Joey Pants, I think, was the guy that gave you the jobs. Joey Pants.
Joey Pants?
Yeah.
You mean Joe Pantoliano?
Yes, I think he voice acted that. If I'm
I
not,
think he did. Yes.
Is that
But
right?
that wasn't his character in the game, though.
No,
right?
no. It was something else. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, GTA 3, Joey Pantoliano. No. He played the character
Luigi Gotorelli.
Yep, Luigi Gotorelli.
Gotorelli.
Grand Theft Auto 3. And he's great. We love him.
You see this steak? My mind is telling me that this is just a crappy piece of meat, but because I'm in the Matrix, it's going to be the most delicious piece of steak I've ever eaten.
But I know it's not real. Yet here I am. It's a great scene. You're supposed to learn something from that
I'm
scene.
almost Joe Pesci.
Yeah. He is almost Joe Pesci. Just right on the edge. Just almost there.
Exactly.
I love that guy, though. I wish he was in more
do
stuff
too.
now. I feel like
Me
we don't
too.
see him a lot anymore. What's he
No.
doing? What's Joe
Favorite
Panty,
Joey Pants movie for me is Memento. Love him in Memento.
Right. I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
He's very good in that.
Comes to an untimely beginning. Because you can't really say comes to an untimely end in that movie. He comes to an untimely beginning.
He's a great character in the Bad Boys movies. We saw him on Film Sack as Captain Howard. He was the angry police captain. And he's in the new one.
He's in the new one. He's in Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, look at this. He's working look at all these things he's in. Oh, he's fine.
Oh, Blue Ridge John has to put the actual quote. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it's juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
Listen, that's great and all, but we have our own version in our head.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly. Let me Mandela my own Joey Pants line from the Matrix.
Yeah, Red Ridge Jim. That's your name because that's in my head. Is Red Ridge Jim, not Blue Ridge John. He was recently on SpongeBob SquarePants playing a character called Sticky Fins Whiting. That sounds like a mobster type character.
Nice. And he was a mobster in Goonies. He was one of the two brothers that worked for Throw Mama from the Train.
That's right. He's getting on too. 59 years or 51. No, he's born in 51. That makes him 60.
70.
60.
Or 69. Yeah.
69. What? What?
Yeah.
He was good in Daredevil and Cadaverri. You're right. All right. Anyway, thanks
All
for your
right.
emails. We appreciate it. Now we'll do a thing we haven't done in days. Check it out.
Watch the news.
It's time for the news brought to you by...
Have you tried Read It Later services only to find that they end up just as a list of articles that you're never ever going to get around to? Try listenlater.fm. This is a Read It Later service for your ears. Listen Later gives you a personal podcast feed that you can add to your podcast player. Then, as you're browsing online, you send Listen Later articles you want to read. It nearly instantly converts the articles into audio podcasts read by your favorite rock musicians. No, that last part's not true. Please go to listenlater.fm to try it for free.
Sounds good to me. All right, check this out. A baboon escaped a vasectomy op at a testing lab and fled with 2 female monkeys.
Nice. I'm getting out of here, and I'm taking these 2 ladies with me.
That's right. You're not cutting my vas deferens. I'm leaving.
That's right.
Is that right? That's what you cut, right?
That's exactly what they cut. Yeah.
Yeah. You had yours snipped or burned or whatever.
I had mine done, and the weirdest part of that whole thing, so it was obviously a local anesthetic and not a general.
Yeah.
And I smelled the smoke from them cauterizing it.
Ugh. Ugh.
So smelling them burning the ends of my vas deferens.
Gross. Can you compare it to anything? Could you say, oh, it's like pork, fried
like
pork?
chicken.
Oh, jeez. That sounds so bad. It smells like chicken cooking.
Is there a Chipotle near here?
Ugh. Ooh, beef.
Is there a Burger King? I swear I'm smelling some flame broiled burgers.
It sounds really bad. I have not had this done. And the reason I haven't, let me tell you why I haven't. First of all, Kim had to have a It was for some other reason, though.
Hysterectomy?
Yeah, but she had one because of some other reason. It wasn't because we were done having kids. It was because there was some other reason she had to. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't like a life-threatening thing. It was like well, you can do this or you can get the hysterectomy. And we were like, well, we're done, so go ahead. So there's the one reason. So there's motivation number one. I don't need to do it. Number two, boy, there's a lot of TMI for the chat. Here's number two. When the world ends from the great virus that starts The Stand from Stephen King, someone's going to need my genetic material to continue on the human race. So
right. Yeah.
So let me know, ladies.
It was basically like a planning for the future, post-apocalyptic situation.
Yep.
All right, it's you or me, hun. I think the world needs more Scott Johnsons.
That's right. If I survive this,
yes,
test tubes for everyone. All right.
That's right.
Anyway, so this baboon was scheduled to have a vasectomy and made a daring escape with two of his lady friends near a hospital in Sydney. This is great. Footage captured by a stunned pedestrian showed the trio of primates running loose in a park at the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital just before 5:30 p.m. local time, right before drive time. Oh, look at this.
In the movie adaptation, he's going to be played by James Franco.
Actually, here, look at this. Hold on.
What's that? Look at that.
So my wife brought it down. So,
wow.
Wait, did you include his name here somewhere? Crap, I don't remember his real name because I only know his Twitter account. So somebody just sent this giant Mad Max Fury Road poster, which I'm going to unwrap and hang in our movie room.
That's cool.
It just showed up yesterday. It was the nicest thing, and he says, "Thanks for all the stuff you've done for all these years." And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Nice.
It's such a nice gesture, and it's all framed.
It is. It's beautifully framed.
And look,
that's very cool.
Furiosa and Jim Bob McGee over there shooting people.
Is that like? Did they design that in Photoshop with what a lovely do their own compositing kind of thing?
I don't know where that's from. If that's part of the deal, or if that was like an add-on, I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
It looks like it was photoshopped on there.
It does look customized.
Yeah. But anyway, this is going up, and we are all better for it. Thanks, honey. What's going up? You talking about erections? What are you talking about? We were just talking about how my genetic material will continue on when the virus wipes out most of the Earth, because I didn't get a hysterectomy, or I mean the male version.
No, you didn't have a hysterectomy either.
I didn't have that either. You're right. All right, where the hell was I? Oh yeah. So he's running around. The baboons have run off the medical research facility toward the parking ambulance. NSW Health Minister Brad Hazard. Oh.
Gotta love the Australian Health Minister Brad Hazard.
Brad Hazard, man. How cool is that?
I'm the New South Wales Health Minister.
Of course.
Let me finish my meat pie and I'll try and stop those baboons.
He just sounds like a
rack off your nutbag.
He's like a super action man. Brad Hazard.
He is Brad Hazard. Yeah,
I love it. It says he was in there to get the thing in the hospitals, being accompanied by his two wives to keep him comfortable.
Really? That's hilarious. Like they brought the two female baboons in there to just keep him
hold his hands.
down.
Yeah, hold his hands. They say his wives. I assume they're just his mates, right? I mean, they didn't get married.
Well, who knows what they do in Australia? I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder what they did there. That's weird. Anyway, it says...
Of course, we had a little baboon Wezzy. We married the three of them.
It says, they did pick him up. He's still going to have his operation. The two wives are getting returned to the colony. They call it a colony.
Okay.
But he's not going to be able to make any more babies. That'll be the end of that. Because, you're getting your noodle chopped there.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not that. Otherwise... that'd be very disappointing. That'd be castration.
That's right. That would be. It says here, one woman said her daughter, who worked at the hospital, had watched the entire thing unfold. My daughter is an occupational therapist at the RPA. And she said, yes, Mum, I just helped wrangle them. She told 2GB, which is 2 gigabytes.
2 gigabytes.
Yeah, what the hell does that mean? 2 GB.
It's a news source that only gets through about a third of the day before they have to stop.
No, sounds right.
They can make it through half the day if they don't use any photographs.
Nailed it. I'm sure that's it.
Yeah.
It's not a very high resolution on
No, it's not.
the photos.
All the news that fits in 2 gigs.
I mean, it was really good back in the day, but right now,
yeah,
not so much.
Hey, it's so much more than you got in your your Nintendo 64 expansion pack.
Yeah, your 4 megabyte expansion pack.
That's right.
Boy, thank goodness we had that, because where else was I going to spend $80 or whatever it was? Did anyone find out in the chat what that cost in the day? Like if I bought it new, what was I paying for that? Now we must know. N64 expansion pack price at launch. Okay, so launch price.
Yeah.
Oh, $50. You're right.
It was $49.95. Okay.
Yeah, 1998. Not a requirement. It was just there to juice performance for gamers that decided to apply.
You ain't gonna be killing any dinosaurs in Turok without it.
Nope, you're absolutely
You're only
right.
gonna get Diddy or DK, but not both in Donkey Kong Country 2, unless you get the.
Yeah, here's a great question. Does the N64 expansion pack improve all games? It says, it does improve the graphics and adds features on games that are made for it. However, it does not improve older games made before the release of the pack.
You can only do half a barrel roll in Star Fox 64 with the expansion without the expansion pack.
Just ask
Your
Slippy.
Kazooie will not be able to play the banjo.
No. Well,
Did you hear about that woman? Speaking of surgeries, speaking of the banjo is what made me think of this.
Yeah.
There was a violinist who had brain surgery and
she played it
to
the
play
whole time.
the violin the entire time to make sure that she didn't forget how to play the violin.
Right, I heard about this, and so I think that's a thing they try to do with a lot of brain surgeries, because there's not going to be any pain up there anyway, other than the you can do a local for the.
As we saw from Ray Liotta and
oh yeah, when he's eating his brain.
sequel to the Silence of the Lambs. Yeah.
What was that called? That was called.
It was Hannibal.
Hannibal. Yeah, just like the show, just like the TV show. Anyway, so yeah, she did this thing, and I guess they do this a lot, where people read a book or something, and if they're reading and they're reading out loud, if they start to go, and then the dog, chicken, fart, monkey poo, mother cheese, then you realize, then you're like, oh, we're poking into this is a problem. We don't want to be messing with that lobe.
Isn't it too late though at that point? Like, if
I don't know, because I think if you just like touch
Undo.
areas.
Oh, gotcha. Sure.
Yeah, I think if you just like graze it, you can cause somebody to go off track. So she was probably doing one of those things where she's like, all right, keep playing, because that's like your main skill. And if for some reason she starts going, then we know we got to back up or whatever. Right. I think that's what it is.
What would you pick for your thing to do while they worked on your brain to make sure that you were still functioning?
Host TMS.
They're doing it right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to have them do this while you're playing a video game like Resident Evil or something.
No. Oh my gosh, no. By the way, Jack, that reminds me, Jack Fox in our community, fine member of our community, got wind that I was going to absolutely 100% boycott, avoid the remake of Resident Evil 3 that's coming out this year. And I was very adamant. I'm like, that last one scared the shice out of me. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do it again. So but he knew the rule. And the rule was, if somebody buys that game, I have to do it. He bought it, so I have to do it.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
I
we'll
love
see.
that's a rule.
Yeah, and Jamie's all stoked about it, because Jamie gets to find a bunch of screamy noises. So he's really excited.
Oh yeah, it's going to be tons.
Yeah. So anyway, I will host TMS having brain surgery. No problem. Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Problem is, I don't have a reason to have brain surgery yet.
Sure. Let's hope we never do.
I don't, of all the things to get, all right, there's a lot of things you can have go wrong in your life.
Sure.
Physical, whatever. Different cancers, different whatevers. I feel like a big, cancerous or otherwise, big fat tumor in the brain has to be one of the worst, because
for sure
those give you the worst, like, world cracking headaches. They debilitating.
You can't get much more invasive than having to crack your skull open and work on your brain.
Right. You could cut my arm off. I would rather they say, hey, I'm cutting your arm off from the elbow down, than them say, we have to remove a tumor from your brain.
Now, what if they say, well, we did just buy this Nintendo expansion pack and we can actually install it while we're in there working on your brain.
Still
and
only
give you 4 extra megabytes of storage.
Only $50 though? Still $50?
Still just $50. Got $50.
$50. All right, then I'm in.
All right, cool.
I would draw just fine Bobby Franks, because I can take my left arm. Don't take my right one. Now, if they take my right one, I'll just train the left one to do it. If they're taking both my arms, I'm going to become one of those people that eats and draws with his feet. Yeah. I don't want any of this.
Don't battle on any of that either.
Check this out. We're talking about all this medical stuff. Why not this one? Doctors report the first known case of a person who urinates alcohol. Pure alcohol.
His name is Brian Ibbett.
That's right.
Thank you, everybody.
That's right. Brian's got bottles all piled up. He's just filling them up. This is a woman, actually, in Pittsburgh. Became the first documented case of a living person. I don't know why. Maybe dead people can. I don't know. Of an unusual medical condition where alcohol naturally brews in the bladder from the fermentation of yeast. The condition, which researchers propose to call either bladder fermentation syndrome or urinary autobrewery syndrome. Which of those two do you prefer, Brian?
Neither of them sounds really good. Bladder fermentation syndrome, urinary autobrewery. So she has, not only does she have a yeast infection, she's got a yeast and hops infection.
Yeah, basically. But she's. Can she make light beer? Can she do? Is it just whiskey level stuff?
Next month it'll be mead.
Yeah, because the fact
we'll
that
be tapping cider.
Whoop, today's a brown ale. No, you never know what you're gonna get.
Stout.
Oh, it's very stout today. I feel bad. It's probably a miserable condition. I don't actually
Probably,
know.
Yeah.
Says it's similar to another incredibly rare condition where simply ingesting carbohydrates can be enough for you to become inebriated. So she becomes drunk and urinates the raw alcohol.
Wow, just by having carbs.
Just by eating like a pizza.
A bowl of rice.
Yeah, bowl of rice. Exactly. Eat a bowl of rice. I'm feeling the buzz.
Does she make sake if she has a bowl of rice?
Yes, yes. It's not racist at all. I'll say that. It's fine.
Well, no.
It really isn't racist. It's not.
Sake comes from rice. It's totally not racist.
No, you're totally right.
Science.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
It's science.
If she eats potatoes, she makes vodka. If she
Hey, Irish people don't like that. Irish people.
juniper berries, then she makes gin.
Oh, the Europeans are mad now because you said that. It says in the new case, doctors became aware of what seemed to be a related syndrome after attending upon the 61-year-old patient who was presented with liver damage and poor controlled diabetes. I mean, these are all things that would come from this carb problem. The woman visited the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center Presbyterian Hospital, and she was going in there to do a liver transplant wait list thing. Mm-hmm. Then they checked her out more and found out her pee tested for alcohol, showing consistently positive.
Wow.
Let's see. The test results for ethanol and urine test results for ethyl glucuronide and ethyl sulfate, which are the metabolites of ethanol, were negative, whereas urine test results were for ethanol were positive. So she was peeing out straight ethanol. Furthermore, in addition
to the proof is in the pissing.
Yeah, the proof is always in the piss.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish we said the thing like, what do they say in Europe? I'm just taking the piss. I wish we said that.
Just taking the piss.
I'm just taking the piss. I mean, you're getting teased, right? Or you're getting joshed or whatever you'd say here. What would we say?
Oh yeah. Well, if you get pissed,
it's when you're getting drunk.
When you get drunk,
right? Yeah. But if you're teasing somebody and you're like, your head looks like a dork or whatever, and he goes, hey, leave me alone. He goes, I'm just taking the piss. Isn't that a thing people say?
Yeah, I'm just taking the piss.
Yes. I forget how that goes.
But my joke worked on two levels because proof is also a measure of alcohol.
Oh,
level.
Hey.
Right. So 100 proof or 120 proof. Or
see what you did. I see what you did.
Yes. Okay.
It was very,
all right,
very good.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
As we were.
Let's talk about Hot Pockets. It's been a while.
Hot Pockets, or as Brian Dunaway calls them, Hot Topic.
Hot Topic. That was so funny. He thought he was doing the theme from Hot Topic. There is no theme. It was Hot Pockets. All right, so here's the deal. Hot Pocket heiress Michelle Janavs, probably.
Sure.
Was sentenced to 5 months imprisonment in the college admissions scam that we've all heard so much about. Yeah, didn't know the Hot Pocket heiress was wrapped up in this thing.
No.
Former food company executive Michelle Janavs, whatever it is. This Michelle lady was sentenced to 5 months in prison Tuesday for paying bribes for a college admissions scam, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Massachusetts.
Is she going to get a cell or just a crisping sleeve?
I mean, you know my answer. You know what I want. You know exactly what I want out of this. Yeah. Her family invented Hot Pockets. That's where this all came from. She paid the scheme's mastermind, Rick Singer. This is the dude that is in all these cases. $100,000 to cheat on 2 of her daughter's ACTs. and agreed to pay $200,000 to have one of her daughters admitted to the University of Southern California as a fake beach volleyball recruit. She was. They were trying
I'm
to
going
make.
on a beach ball scholarship. I'm always the one at concerts who brings one along to hit around the audience, and
That's when the gig was up. The gig was up when the minute they said beach ball. They're like, wait a minute. So anyway, this is all according to the sentencing memorandum. Jarvis Janavis, whatever her name is, age 49, was one of 4 defendants who are far and away the most culpable parents in the admission scandal. It says in the memorandum, she and 3 others are repeat players who engaged in the conspiracy again and again over years. In between Hot Pockets, I guess. I don't know. In October, she pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit mail fraud and wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. She's also ordered to pay $250,000 in fines and to serve 2 years of supervised release after prison. The government had recommended 21-month sentence. Let's see. Her attorney said the actual sentence reflects that she is a profoundly good person.
Profoundly good person. Wow.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think she's going to find that in prison, Hot Pockets probably means something different.
ooh, I didn't think of that. What's that going to be? I mean, what kind of prison is this even going to be, though? It's going to be some weenie prison. Like, no big deal, right?
Yeah, probably. Right.
Low end.
She's not going to Rikers.
No. Who was it that was... Oh, Blagojevich, who just got pardoned. Or commuted, I guess. Apparently, his prison was, like, super fancy. I don't understand why these guys, why white-collar dudes go to such fancy prisons.
White-collar crime.
Put them in the pit. Put them in the pit, man.
You think they deserve to be in the same place, the same kind of prison as rapists and murderers and...
Yes, I do think they should be there. They're committing felonies just like they did. Like go to like I don't think there's is that why they don't? Is it because they get a
Yeah, I mean minimum security, maximum security. I think the prison connects with or fits the level of severity of the crime and danger to yourself and others.
Yeah, but like
so he was probably basically in like a chalet with bars on the window.
But if you're a inner city guy and you bounce 5 checks and you go to prison, you go to the bad one. You don't go to a nice one.
No, I don't think you do.
Because you're not white. I think you do. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's equality across the board.
Oh, you think
here.
it's based on what part, like what income, socioeconomic bracket you come from?
Oh yeah, like there's got to be because like if you, I know there are too many people that I've seen, mostly through my sister's work when she was here and she was dealing with like, you know.
Well, here's what we'll do. We're going to wildly speculate, and then we're going to get an email from Bronco tomorrow explaining.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He'll probably... But see, he only knows the Canadian... they just slap you on the wrist and say,
yeah,
hey, now...
minimum security in Canada.
Yeah, as long as you're sorry, it's okay. You can go ahead and go.
You stole a 6-pack of Tuborg. You're going to the pokey, mister.
I don't know. I just feel like there's some inequity there.
Sure.
I could be wrong. Rich white guys seem to get away with it, is what I'm saying. They seem to. All right.
Thor 4231 says it's tough in white collar prison. The waiters are so slow there, and the ambiance is lacking.
I mean, not wrong.
Yeah.
Real quick, what was I going to say? Oh, is it weird that I'm not kidding about this? I'm slightly hungry for a Hot Pocket now. Is that weird?
Oh yeah, no, it's not weird at all. I mean, whenever we talk about food on the show, we kind of get hungry for that food.
That's bad though. Those are bad.
They are bad. Oh yeah, that's
diarrhea pockets.
Right. Exactly. They don't make like a grilled veggie Hot Pocket.
No.
It's like sauce with cheese and meat products.
Yep, that's pretty much it. All right.
I didn't go to Tokyo Joe's yesterday. I think I'm going to go today, but I did stay here, and I took so you know those bags, those they're in the produce section, bags of salad.
Yeah.
Like it's got everything you need to make a Caesar salad.
Yeah, I like those.
I took one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Took some grilled chicken. I took maybe a third of a bag of one of those. Some grilled chicken, threw it all in a tortilla, squirted some Caesar dressing on it as well.
Yeah.
Rolled it up and had a Caesar wrap, a chicken Caesar wrap.
Look at that.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh, this is like the foundation of some future restaurant you're going to launch. This is great. Ibbott's Chicken Wraps.
Ibbott's Chicken Wraps. You know what? It'd be the easiest damn thing to do right
Yeah,
there.
nice
Just, take
job.
the Caesar salad pre-mix bag stuff and dump it into it. Dump the salad into the thing.
That's right. I had a similar thing yesterday, although it was all salad, but I ate well yesterday. So trying to re-up my plan here. I've plateaued. So
I will do Tokyo Joe's today. Oh, you know what though? Right next to Tokyo Joe's is
I love
is,
that. You got this place all figured out, and you're like, "Ooh, there's a place next to it."
Yeah, but see, right next to Tokyo Joe's is Mod Pizza. I could just get a cauliflower crust pizza.
Yeah,
and feel even better about myself.
That's right. Whoop, that was a weird noise. Yes, you could completely,
All right,
absolutely
I might do
that.
I might do that. You know what? You keep jury busy. I'll be back. I'll be right back. I'll be back in half an hour.
Probably plenty to talk about, so I think you'll have time. Hey, ABC's doing a spinoff of The Bachelor again, but this time it's for senior citizens.
Senior citizens.
Yeah, is that
sweating to the oldies?
Aren't you a fan, or no? It's your wife that likes it, or something.
We're both watching it.
Yeah.
We're not fans. We're not part of Bachelor Nation #.
Yeah.
But we're watching it. You know, it started out as like, all right, let's watch the first one because it's all these women showing up in limousines, but they come out individually, one at a time, and they have to do something crazy to like make a first impression with the Bachelor.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we watched that, and then we were just like, well, screw it. We're kind of in now for the whole damn season.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we hate watch it. It's exactly what it is.
That's how I feel about. There's a big rigmarole on Twitter about it. That's how I feel about Nip Tuck. I hate watch it whenever I've seen it. I just hate what I'm watching. Don't like it.
Yeah, we talked about that, or you talked about that on Twitter, and I responded yesterday.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what it is. It's like, no, we would not. We know what we're watching. It's like eating a pint of ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know what I'm doing is bad.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna do it, and whatever.
Yeah, I do this with fail videos. I could just watch fail videos for hours,
Right,
and I know that it's just not good to just watch people wipe out on their skateboards over and over. But I just do it.
Yeah.
So I get it, Brian. Don't feel bad is what I'm saying. Don't feel bad.
Good.
Well, this new one will be your thing. ABC is opening up the playing field to the field of love to senior citizens. During last night's episode of The Bachelor, this is a few days ago now. ABC aired a casting call for people over the age of 65 who are looking for love in all the wrong places.
That's right.
When you visit abc.com/casting, their description of the new Bachelor franchise reads this. Now casting seniors looking for love. Are you entering your golden years and looking for romance? The producers of The Bachelor are looking for active and outgoing single men and women in their golden years for a new, exciting dating show. Robert Mills, the head of ABC's alternative programming, tweeted about it as well.
Perfect.
What do you want to see in an old person version of that show?
Well, you know what? The cool thing is that it's smart for them to do this because they can film this concurrently with the regular Bachelor show because they'll, all right, let's go film we're going to go film the senior Bachelor. They're out going having dinner right now, and then the date comes to an end. All right, it's 7:00 now. We can do the regular Bachelor dinner.
Yeah,
and their evening.
Right, all the early bird special advantages.
Right, exactly. Like, all right, do you want to come over and watch Matlock? All right, well, let's do that as our date.
I love it. But you know what they're going to do instead? They're going to have them do dates that are like physically challenging. Or,
of course, it's going to be like going to a indoor skydiving place, or
they're going to go do VR laser tag.
That's right, exactly.
And
they're going to go over. They're going to go overboard with what the seniors can do. Yeah. We know seniors can do everything that their younger counterparts can do. We know we're gonna be there pretty soon ourselves. So
got some, here's Frank on his single ski slalom water ski date with Francis.
Right.
Let the hilarity ensue. It's gonna be.
it's gonna be. What's interesting about this is that it's gonna be a lot of contestants on this show who are probably divorcees, maybe even a couple widowers. I expect some real douchebags too. Serious douchebags. Like, Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Like full on, like all the stereotype boomer stuff. That's all happening there on that show. You're gonna get some guy who's just like mega hat, freaking pissed off at everybody. It's gonna be. And did they say? So they say The Bachelor. This is probably gonna be a dude and lots of ladies again, right? Maybe?
Right. Yeah, if it's gonna be The Bachelor as opposed to The Bachelorette, because they do rename the show when it's a dudette finding a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, super curious about it. Don't want to watch it though. I don't really care.
Hopefully, we'll see what when they start filming this. Let's see if there's healthcare, if there's Medicare for.
Yeah, we need
because the current Bachelor hit his head on a golf cart and then broke a glass with his forehead. Getting into a golf cart, and now has a big old scar across his forehead.
Yeah, but we'll have a small bill that'll be just called Medicare for the cast of The Bachelor Old Man version.
That's right. Sign up at bachelorhealthcare.org.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have Bill and we'll have Jury, and it's it's Super Tuesday, even if you didn't have Super Tuesday. So
that's right.
Stick around for that, but we need a song first. What do you have?
I've got a new song from a local band. Yes, these guys are from Denver, Mile High City, band right here. Heavy metal, too. It's a band called Abrams. Their previous album, Morning, has some moments of breakout yearning, but all of it nestled in a bed of burly pounding doom metal that would be best served with an edible because it's Colorado.
Yeah.
That's what it says here. Their upcoming album is called Modern Ways. It comes out in July. So you got plenty of time to get ready for it. Oh, I'm sorry, no, take that back. Comes out May 1st on Sailor Records. But you can pre-order it and get a couple songs right now. They're going to be performing here at the Larimer Lounge with King Buffalo and at the High Dive with Native Daughters in May. So come check them out. The band is called Abrams. Here is the song Joshua Tree.
If you can make it to the tunnel, it's a clean getaway.
Yeah, but I can hardly see.
Can I do your windshield? The wall crawler.
The webhead.
Just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Turn there.
The truth scanner will make you tell us everything we want to know.
Say one word about this hat, and I'm out of here. This is the Morning Stream.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the program. We have entered a new phase of the show where Bill Duran will enter and only one Bill Duran will leave.
One man enters, one man leaves. I feel okay about his odds.
I do too. I think it's going to go okay. Yeah. So let's play this.
Your bat cave's open there, Bill.
Hey, Bill. What's going on, Bill? How are you, Bill?
Good morning. Doing pretty good over here.
Oh, that's fantastic. Hey, we think of you often because we always have a bunch of projects, creative ones that we should finish and we don't. And then we think of Bill and go, oh, well, he can do it. Why can't we? And then we go work on them. So thanks for that. And I speak for the whole audience when I say that. So today we check in with Bill and we find out what he's been up to in the world of prop making and otherwise.
Yay.
Bill, what's going on?
I'm glad that's why you think of me too, and it's not because of the upper decker I left in your house about 4 years ago.
I'll never forget. It's a time.
Bygones,
it was a magical
bygones
time.
Be bygones.
Yeah. Magical moment. Anyway, yes.
I have been doing some good old-fashioned hand sculpting, like clay, tools, your hands.
Sculpting with your hands or doing sculpting of hands, like making hands out of.
See, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Sculpting a helmet with my hands.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't. I mean, it might work. You could probably sculpt hands using a helmet. I haven't tried.
If anyone will find a way, though, we know it will be you.
Are you a sculpty guy? Or are we in the plasticine era again, or what are we doing these days for sculpting stuff?
I'm not much of a sculptor. I just haven't done it a whole lot.
Yeah.
But for this particular project, it's a mask that I'm making for my new book, which is all about foam. And you better believe there is a foam clay.
And it's super light too.
Yeah, you can just go out and buy it. A bunch of different people are selling it online. You might even be able to get it at Michael's now. I'm not sure. But anyway, foam clay is really cool. It's kind of like a putty. It's a little different than normal clay.
Okay. All right.
It does stick to EVA foam really well, which is awesome. And then you can just use normal sculpting tools, like traditional sculpting tools, to manipulate it. And it It's weird though. It's got like, I don't know how to describe it. It's an air drying medium, but it dries from the outside in. So think about like your pudding. It gets a little skin on the top of it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. So as you're working with it, you work in small batches because the part you're working on will start to dry from the outside, and then it's a lot harder to manipulate it. It's kind of pulley a little bit, tears a little bit. So it's different than like normal clay. It does take some getting used to.
Sure.
And I also found that you can get really, really great fidelity and detail into it, but if it dries that way, as the moisture evaporates from the clay and it dries, that fidelity will soften quite a bit. Any fine details that you put in there can soften a bit. So there are some drawbacks to using the foam clay, but it's got a lot of really great potential, a lot of good upsides.
Do you have when you use this stuff, does temperature play a role in it, or like room temperature? It used to be when I do a lot of stuff with plasticine, we would want a sort of cold room because it meant the clay was was more pliable and held together better and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be. That's definitely a factor for like oil-based clays, but for this stuff, it doesn't seem to be a factor. Although airflow will dry it faster, so if you have a fan blowing on it, it will dry faster.
Yeah, if you got real big nostrils, aim your head the other direction.
Exhaling a lot.
Yeah. Careful of that.
Now you could sculpt your entire helmet or mask out of just this clay, and I'm sure there are some people who would prefer to do that. What I like to do is build sort of a base form of like a mask or a helmet using sheets of EVA foam, and then you can sculpt this foam clay right on top of it to add your more organic details.
All right.
So,
do you have a preferred brand of this stuff, or did you already say the name of it? Maybe you said.
There are a bunch of different ones. I used stuff my buddy Steve from SKS sells, but they're all pretty much the same.
Okay.
Like I said too, you can just find it online from a bunch of different retailers if you look up foam clay. But there's starting to show up things like that are starting to show up in Michaels and Joann's too, which I think is pretty neat.
Yeah, everyone's got a Michaels.
Yeah,
pretty much.
You can pick up your Yaya Han foam, EVA foam while you're there.
Yes, those are at Joann's, of course.
Oh, Joann's, that's not Michael's. That's right.
No, yeah, they're across the street from each other in my town, and it gets a little tense.
They're in the same strip mall in Westminster, so you could go both.
Boys outside snapping their fingers.
Yep, snapping and like circling around each other. When you're at
When
Michael's,
you're Joann's all the way from your first batch of cloth to your last dying day.
No, your last chunk of clay. It should have been your last chunk of clay.
That's right. Yes.
That's all right.
So speaking of clay, there are a lot of other ways you can sculpt. A lot of other mediums you can sculpt with. What's cool about the foam clay is that it's very lightweight. So when you're done sculpting it onto, let's say, a mask or a helmet or whatever, it's done. It's nice and lightweight. You can wear it as part of your costume. Now, more traditional types of clay, they're wet clays or oil-based clays. They're really heavy. Like you wouldn't want to sculpt a whole bunch of oil-based clay all over and make a whole helmet out of it and then just wear it. It's deformable. It's also really, really heavy. So usually with these other methods for prop and costume making, you would make a mold of it and then cast it in something that's lighter and more durable, like urethane or fiberglass.
Right.
But there are a bunch of other clays, and I recommend if anyone's trying to get into sculpting to try them all. So, for example, wed clay is Walter Elias Disney, I think is what it stands for.
Okay.
Made by Walt Disney, and it's a water-based clay. It's usually gray. It's an air-drying clay, and you can work really fast with it. A lot of people prefer that for like making molds and stuff, but a lot of other people will do their final sculpts in this clay, even though it's an air-drying clay, because they just prefer how it moves. They like how it works. The video you've got up there, Scott, it looks like he's using some sort of oil-based clay, like a Chavant or like Monster clay.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And also, he started with, I was just going to ask you this, but he started with a chunk of, he shaped it into a general shape, but a chunk of, what's it called?
Foil?
Foil,
like
yes,
oil.
tin foil
Yeah.
in there. Is that a common thing you would do for something like a helmet?
Yeah, definitely. It takes up a lot of space, so you have to use a lot less of that clay.
Mm-hmm.
And also it makes the sculpt that you're working with just not as heavy. So it's economical and practical.
Nice. Yeah, it makes sense. That's cool.
That's the sort of clay too that where temperature would play a role. In fact, you could heat it up to make it softer and work with it a little bit more, and then you could hit it with a can of air to cool it down, and then you can go in and scratch fine details into the surface.
Yeah, I have a friend who sculpts who wants to start streaming and bought regular halogen style lights, and they were too hot and it would make the clay too melty.
Sure.
So
Pliable.
I went, well, why don't you do LEDs? And now it's all good. The LEDs are great.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no heat.
There are lots of other clays too, but a lot of people like polymer clays like Sculpey. In fact, some people just prefer, again, like I said, they prefer the way it moves. So they'll use Sculpey and not bake it. They'll reuse it, like you would like oil-based clay.
Right.
It really comes down to preference, I found. I know a lot of different sculptors. They all use whatever clay is their favorite. I think the best thing you could do if you want to get into it is just buy a small hunk of the clay, something reusable, like an oil-based clay or maybe just some Sculpey. Buy some basic tools and just get used to working with that material. Just poke around and consider each of your sculpts like a sketch, like you were drawing. I think for some reason when you're sculpting something three-dimensional, people tend to feel like, no, this is the final thing. It's like, no, it's a sketch. Sculpt a little thing and then smash it up and sculpt another thing. Get some practice in.
Yeah. All right. When you finish a sculpture, do you immediately have this feeling of like, I need to cast this ASAP? Like I need to make this stay forever, because otherwise you can't just be the clay, right? You're going to go bronze it or you're going to do whatever.
I mean, it depends if it's any good.
Right.
And that's the best part with like I use monster clay for the most part whenever I do this kind of work. If I sculpt something and I don't like it, I can just melt it. Just hit it with a heat gun. Just go razors to the last arc on that thing and melt it off and then start again.
Yeah, in fact, I think the thing he's using monster clay in this video I was looking at, and I'm looking at it on Amazon. You can get a big chunk of this stuff, 5-pound chunk, premium grade for $29. It's not too bad.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's reusable. Like the monster clay I bought 10 years ago is still good. So.
Yeah, that stuff lasts forever. Oh, you're making me want to sculpt again. I used to do this.
I know.
Forever ago.
I know. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of want to get back into it now. Damn you.
Wait until you see the mask I sculpted.
You know what? This might be the finally I can, when you come on the show one time, I can finally show something. I'm going to sculpt something. That's what I'm going to do.
Do it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You can't stop me.
All right.
Excellent. Well, this is all great. If you have any questions about all that stuff, you can always find Bill on Twitter, and he'll give you some more information over there at Chinbeard. Also, any bonus link today you want to give us?
Absolutely. This is a really fun project. So my pal Bob did this project. It's a guitar. Dropping a link in the chat. He made this guitar for this musician named Rob Scallon, and the video is Rob's video. It's a normal electric guitar that he modified to what is known as a B bender. I had never heard of this before.
B bender.
The idea is you modify it so that you can stretch just the B string, and you do it by pushing down on the guitar, and the mechanism is attached to the guitar strap.
Like seeing the inner workings of this. That is really cool.
So cool.
Cool.
And then Rob is just like a virtuoso with a guitar, so the video is him playing around with it, and it's an effect I had never heard before, and it's really super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Of course, there's also a video where Bob did the modification, so there's a couple of videos. It's really worth checking out.
This guy with the
this thing
beanie
can only have one string in it, right? Because you're only going to be able to affect one string with this.
Right, but he still plays all the other strings and bends the one string. It sounds really cool.
So it only bends one string, but you still have the other strings in this thing.
Yeah, it's like
it's bizarre. It's a really weird effect, but it's so cool.
So the guy with the beanie, what's his name?
Rob Scallon.
All right,
Scallon.
He looks like a young, what's his name? A Bam Margera is who he looks like.
There you go.
Yeah,
sure.
Freaking me out a little bit. Anyway, I just watched an interview with Bam, who looks terrible today, by the way. Looking rough.
I love the I like to make stuff guy. He is so cool and just seems so nice, and
plus he just seems to really like making stuff. You know,
he really does.
He slept on my couch once.
Whoa,
nice. Didn't even offer him a spare bed. Wow.
It was taken.
Oh, fair enough. Well, excellent. This is all good stuff.
Did you wake up and he'd like made it into a 4-poster queen size?
That would be so cool. Wake up, you got a whole new bedroom set. Oh, I just felt like making it.
Right.
Bill Duran, everybody. Like I said earlier, Chinbeard on Twitter. PunishedProps.com is the site. You can also find his YouTube channel on YouTube at Punished Props. And I guess that's it, Bill. Have a fantastic week.
Take it easy.
See you later. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That is good stuff.
All right, let's talk to Super Tuesday himself.
He is Super Tuesday.
He really is Super Tuesday as far as I'm concerned. And his little opening theme goes a little something like this.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here on this Super Tuesday, Mr. Justin Robert Young, the superest of Tuesdays, joining us right now on the air. His mother.
Love that shirt, dude. That is awesome.
What does it say? Hi,
Didn't I interview you 4 years ago?
That's pretty great. Did you?
Yeah, there's a great shop in Des Moines called Ray Gun that does a lot of political stuff, and so I had to get this my on the road journalistic hack shirt,
Yeah.
and then there's another one that already had half of the candidates that had run crossed out, and so I'm crossing out all the other ones as they drop out until eventually only one or none will remain because it's all
Right.
the
Well, that'd be an
Democratic
interesting change of pace.
Actually, we should talk about that because since you were here, man, how things can change in a week.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, just in 48 hours, really, the entire race changed.
Yeah, everybody's kind of out. Not everybody. Bloomberg's holding on for dear life, and who else? Who else is? Oh, and Warren, of course. But
Bloomberg,
things.
Warren, Biden, and Sanders.
Yeah, and didn't things take a bit of a turn in your prediction world because you kind of thought this was going to be Biden's sort of not death knell, but you thought this would be sort of the end of his run.
No, I mean, I will happily eat it on this one. I saw what everybody else saw with their own two eyes, and my sense on the ground with the Biden campaign here. I have it right here. Look at this. This is, Bernie Sanders in Iowa. For those of you who are watching on video, this is this press pass, right? It is a substantial, hard card stock kind of thing. Amy Klobuchar has an even nicer one.
Yeah,
that's like plastic. Within 6 days, this is what I got from the Biden campaign.
It looks like
wow,
500 sheet ream Office Depot paper.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
like this was for the lying dog faced pony soldier event.
Oh wow!
Like all the word on the street was that he was running out of money. He had taken a gigantic L in Iowa, another huge loss in New Hampshire, and then got drilled by 25 points in Nevada, which he called his comeback kid victory. But ultimately, there was nobody else that could really speak to the African-American vote. Joe Biden still very much is in their hearts, at least in South Carolina. He got the endorsement that he needed to get in Jim Clyburn, who's the senator down there. And not only was it a win, I think everybody was expecting for him to win. The question was exactly how close somebody else would be, most likely Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
But it was a drumming. It was just a deafening blowout for Biden, which was its own surprise. Even more surprising is that the culling of the centrist lane, which folks had kind of wondered when would start happening. I thought Amy Klobuchar was going to drop out after Iowa.
Yeah.
But she seemed bent and intent on staying in through Super Tuesday so she could compete in Minnesota. That doesn't happen. She drops out. Only 16 hours after her mortal rival Pete Buttigieg drops out. They both endorsed Biden on the same day, although not at the same event.
Yeah,
which
separate
I thought was
events,
very
right?
Funny.
It's so weird.
Separate events.
Yeah.
Beto O'Rourke raises from the dead so he can endorse Biden and then live stream them at Whataburger afterward. But no, this is now, if you are wary of Bernie, if you don't think that Medicare for All is something that can win in the general election, the centrists have basically all cleared out to have one clear voice. Vote for Biden. Hold your nose. This is the best, most electable shot that the centrists are offering right now.
Yeah. And all the others who have dropped out, Yang, everybody else, have they all weighed in on who they'd?
Yang has said he's not going to endorse anybody unless they take on UBI, which it seems unlikely anybody in the front-running position is going to take. His campaign manager came out today and said that he wasn't going to be endorsing anybody before they have some announcement. I assume it's going to be some political action committee or a charity or something like that on Thursday, and he's not going to endorse anybody before then for sure. But Marianne Williamson has come out and endorsed Bernie.
Oh, has she? Okay.
So there is that. Bill de Blasio has come out and endorsed Bernie. But I think of those are that's pretty much the list of the dropped out.
Who's the other? Who's the billionaire dude that just dropped out too? I forgot his name.
Tom Steyer.
Steyer, yeah.
Tom Steyer has not endorsed anybody yet, unless he endorsed Biden. I'm not sure. There was a lot of Steyer activity over the weekend.
It's pretty bad that I said my question was actually, what's that other billionaire guy's name who just dropped out? Like that guy never got his name on the lips of
he made
households.
it to one debate and that's it, right?
No. He made it to a couple debates. He really he sort of exploited the rules a little bit, and even though he wasn't polling particularly well nationally or in the early states, he was polling well in South Carolina the entire time. And since South Carolina was part of the first 4 states that the DNC was using to get people into the debates, they had to take his numbers, and so he got in for a bunch of them. But now he is out after one of the most surreal rallies that I have ever been to in my entire life. And if I ever go to a weirder political rally, then I will be a blessed man, because it was bizarre. On Friday night, it was Tom Steyer, Yolanda Adams, the gospel artist, DJ Jazzy Jeff, hip-hop icon alongside Will Smith back in the day, and Juvenile. As in Cash Money Records taking over for the 99 and the 2000. Juvenile. Back that ass up, Juvenile. And lo, it was there in Allen University. And you can see the video on my Twitter. You can listen. I did a whole little audio documentary on the Politics feed. I would encourage you to go listen to it, because there were just a lot of rich nook and crannies. But the big moment was Tom Steyer getting up on stage and just shaking and
did he rock the mic
jerking
like a vandal?
He did none. No, he did not. He rocked no mic. In fact, there's a great moment in the sound that I got where a guy next to me halfway through just yells, "Tom don't know the words."
Oh, that's amazing. I love that story.
But I would go ahead and I would encourage everybody to go listen to that episode, because there was, God, it was so weird. Tom Steyer's wife, who, by the way, they always refer to each other by their first and last name, and their children always refer to them by their first and last name.
Really?
Like their children will call them, like my father Tom Steyer and my mother Kat Taylor.
Weird.
And they will always refer to each other like that.
Why? What's the point of that?
In the privacy of their own home.
Dude, I don't know, and
Tom
I have no
Steyer,
answers
could you take
for
out the trash, please?
Yeah, right. Well, no, but then they kept also going on and on about how Kat Taylor had moved to South Carolina for the campaign.
Oh.
Not that they had moved. Kat Taylor had moved to South Carolina, and like they're billionaires, right? Like, what is really moving? Like you just rent or buy another property and you're spending more time there. But anyway, Kat Taylor came out and sang a song that she wrote herself, a cappella. And you can listen to it all on the Politics episode. It is just, I wish I could live in that moment forever, to be honest with you.
Wow. I didn't realize that's an insane sounding scene. That just sounds crazy. But I'm glad you were there. That's awesome. You got to see it.
No, it was certainly bizarre. But, Biden was the guy, and now he's the guy today because, there's some polls, you have no idea how serious to take them, that show that there is a Biden bounce, especially in states like Texas and California. So if you are just coming into this and now you're just sort of, your brain's turning online for politics, this is really what you got to watch tonight. Bernie almost assuredly is going to win in California. The question is by how much. Initially, the thought was if Biden doesn't get to 15%, he gets no delegates in California, and that is the richest haul in the entire primary game. So Bernie taking the lion's share, if not all of those delegates, would be a massive step toward him actually crossing the delegate threshold and being the nominee before any kind of convention situation. But after all the dropouts, after the endorsements, it looks as if there is a Biden push, and there has been over the past week or so. We'll see exactly where that lands, but the higher Biden gets, over 15%, the better it is for him, the worse it is for Bernie. The other thing you got to look at is Texas. Texas has run about 4 to 5 percentage points with Bernie ahead. Can Biden at the 11th hour take a run at that? Can he possibly win Texas? That would also go a long way to putting Biden in a position to blunt some of Bernie's other wins during Super Tuesday. The game for Biden is not to win. The game for Biden is to deny Bernie the kind of momentum that he would otherwise get. Because at this point, it's looking more and more likely that a thing I thought would never happen, a contested convention in the year of our Lord 2020, may indeed come to pass. And at that point, folks, open up the gates of hell, because we are going to have a brutal slog for about the next 3 to 4 months. It will be no friends, battle lines drawn, and it will march toward an eventual moment where, if this math holds, Bernie Sanders will have the most delegates and Bernie Sanders will leave Milwaukee without the nomination.
Wow. That's insane. Also, there'll be the slight issue of a pandemic banging on the door outside the whole time going, hey, I'm a real thing. Stuff's going on out here.
Half-empty town halls with people with masks on.
Yeah, could be a real
Well,
weird
it looks
one.
like there is good news on that. The latest news out of China was that they have their emergency response stuff has drastically reduced. They have a lot of empty hospital beds. So hopefully, this isn't something that will totally cripple the world.
Yeah, that would be good. I would like to have us not cripple the world. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. I mean, this just feels like a very intense thing. I mean, as of today, like the Super Tuesday results stuff, any hot takes on any of that other than what we've talked about? Like, do you think we're going to have any controversial things? Do you think Warren drops out immediately after this? Like,
I wouldn't be shocked if Warren drops out right after this. I really don't know what her game is. Certainly, she will be. I mean, if we're talking about a matter of a couple percentage points, the Bernie folks will not be happy if, let's say, Biden wins Texas and Warren gets about 10%, something like that. They will not be happy if Warren takes 14% in California, that therefore putting her below the delegate threshold, but enough to certainly in the minds of Bernie supporters make up for Biden kind of catching Sanders. So I don't know. I mean, the one thing that I will tell everybody to expect, don't expect California results tonight. They ain't coming.
Oh,
you might get mail-in stuff early. But other than that, don't expect any kind of substantive results before, especially if you're on the East Coast, before you go to sleep. Texas is going to be the tale to tell tonight. And then going forward, obviously, we'll know exactly what happened in California. But beyond maybe a first draft glance of how things will go, which will likely heavily favor Bernie, considering late Biden support will probably be the tale to be told, do not expect anything from California.
Interesting. Not because of any irregularities or weirdness, just it's going to take forever, right?
It's a massive state, and they are historically very slow to count.
Yeah.
Like that's just... But normally nobody cares because California is so late in the game.
Right, no one usually cares.
Yeah. I mean, usually after Super Tuesday, you kind of have the story.
Yeah.
The only difference now is that the establishment candidate will likely be second.
Right.
The insurgent candidate will likely be first. And so now the question will be, can the insurgent candidate win enough delegates to push them over the 1991 line that they need? And that's the count, not the year. Or will Bernie remain under 1,991 delegates? And then at that point, we basically, like, I don't want to say riot, but there's going to be a riot in Milwaukee. I'm just putting it out there. Like, when I say that 2020 is not ready for a contested convention,
yeah,
I mean 2020 is not ready for a contested convention.
Yeah.
Like, we evolved a system over the last 50 plus years to avoid this kind of stuff, and we are right now in the most charged moment in politics that we've had in the last 30 years, since there was a riot at another convention, right?
Yeah.
The mood that I get from talking to Bernie people on the ground, these are the people that like volunteer and canvas for Bernie. They are expecting some screwy stuff, and this would exactly be the kind of screwy stuff that would lead to anger. There was anger in 2016, and I can't imagine if we get another email hack or something like that that just lays bare coordination from certain elements of the party. I mean, hell, at this point, whoever pulls the strings, whoever was whispering in somebody's ear, just got 3 candidates to drop out within 24 hours, and all of them endorse one candidate.
Yeah,
that's coordination.
I was gonna say, you don't think that's by accident? Those guys are coordinating, or they've got a plan with having
talking behind the scenes.
Yeah, they must be, right? They must be. I don't want to be conspiratorial, but it seems like they must be.
No, I mean, there's just ways that you can get that out, right? There's ways that you can that you can get the message out, be it through donors. I mean, that's really the biggest thing, is that effectively this moment right now is the donor class saying to the centrist candidates, hey man, nice shot. However, we've got one person that can speak to black people.
Yeah.
It's Joe Biden. And let's ignore the fact that he may or may not be a shambling corpse reanimated through voodoo magic. Let's ignore the fact that he keeps confusing whether or not he's running for president or senator.
All right.
I worry about how he does in the debates against Trump if it's down to him and Trump,
Like
the debates are the least that you should worry about. Like, honestly, the biggest problem with Biden is that Trump is going to say the things that everybody's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's going to call him a dementia patient.
Sleepy, right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he says that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to... Remember when Castro got booed for saying, like, oh, did you forget something?
Yeah.
Like, did you lose your train of thought? And everyone's like, boo, you're making fun of, it's elder
abuse,
discrimination.
Yeah.
Right.
Trump will not care about that. He's going to say that he's old Sleepy Joe's losing his marbles and he doesn't know where he is, and everyone and the media is going to react like, oh, you can't say that. That's bad. It's bad that he's saying that. A president can't say that. Bah, 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 bah. And at the end of the day, everyone's going to be like, yeah, I mean, he does seem like he has dementia, though. Like,
right.
And it's, that's gonna be what it is, and that's before we get into the fact that, like, look, I said this before, I'll say it now, I'll say it again later, if indeed he is the nominee. Hunter Biden, his son, is going to be as if Hillary Clinton's private email server grew legs, left her home, and started smoking crack and impregnating strippers and refusing to take, responsibility for it. Like, this is going to be, it is far more tabloid heavy than the email server or Benghazi or anything like that, right?
Yeah. Sure.
That's political wing stuff. Everybody's going to care about the guy who broke up his family so he could sleep with his brother's widow.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to care about the guy who impregnated a stripper and then refused paternity until he got called out. Everybody's going to care about the guy that apparently smoked so much crack at a strip club VIP room that all the strippers knew him as the guy who smokes crack in the VIP room.
Oh,
like,
jeez.
This
I heard
is
that one. Wow.
And by the way, that's before we even get any of these people on the record.
Right.
That these are just the stories that are Googleable.
Yeah.
Like, wait until Donald Trump brings that baby to the front row of the debate.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I wish, in a way, I don't know how you do it, but I know that Bernie Sanders would do better on that stage. I just know it. I 100% know it. In my heart of hearts, I know he would get in there and go, listen, and he would know what to say.
40% of the 20%.
Yes, he would freak him out.
The problem is when people want to think about Trump is that they want to battle him. Because that has been the way that races have been run, right? Everybody's looking for the perfect comeback. Everyone's looking for the perfect way that you can take a slip up and maximize it.
Sure.
That doesn't work with Trump.
Yeah.
Trump feeds on anything. The more you're dancing to his tune, he'll always be able to be better than you in the moment to turn the chaos to his advantage. He's too practiced in it. He came up in the New York media. Like that's what he has done forever in a way that politicians have played this kind of gentleman's game. And also they're in general not terribly good at being interesting, even when they're trying to. The only way, in my opinion, that you beat Trump is that you kind of treat him like a regular president and just say, all right, let's not take everything to 150 miles per hour, right? Let's save our powder to the things that really resonate. And number two, mainly talk about your own offense. Talk about your own thing. If Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden were to be the nominee, the way you beat Trump is not talking about Trump.
Yeah.
It's about talking about what you are going to do, how you are going to, the direction you are going to take the country. That's in general a truism in politics, but I think here it really is the only golden rule. And in my opinion, politically, right, ideologically, everybody can have their opinions, but the only person that's out there doing that is Bernie. I was at the South Carolina rally, and Bernie had this moment where he mentioned the coronavirus and said that Trump was here in South Carolina to like troll the Democratic Party, and he should be back in Washington handling the coronavirus, right?
Right.
And it stuck out to me because Bernie very rarely does stuff like that. He very rarely gets into the micro. It's always about the macro. You are a working class person. You've never had a champion. I will be your champion. Here are the things that I will do. Everything else is noise. And it felt interesting that he wanted to take a very conventional politician stance on where Donald Trump was and what he should be doing otherwise, because normally he doesn't care.
Right.
Whatever. Trump's going to do whatever he does.
Right.
I'm going to do what I do. And
Right.
I think that the people that are going to come out and vote are going to vote for me. I think that is far more the prescription is you can't get into this, I would love to see this person on a debate stage with Trump. They'd school him. It's like, they might get some one-liners off, and I'm sure that there'd be plenty of yes queens on Twitter, but I don't know if that really matters. I don't know if that really gets anybody to the polls.
Yeah, I don't either. I guess I just don't want somebody who's just going to be an easy mark on stage. And you could argue that Hillary Clinton was not an easy mark and also focused most of her debate time on issues or what she was going to do. But that was also it was Hillary Clinton. She had just, that was already a way to have anyone who doesn't like her just, it didn't matter what she said. Like, it always felt like it just didn't matter what she's going to say here. She's just going to get torn apart.
Well, I mean, yeah, she's a flawed candidate who had paper mache'd over so many of her flaws over the past several decades that I think it was easy to just even hint around stuff.
Right.
You could just say crooked Hillary and everybody could fill in what they thought she was crooked for.
Right. They all went, they killed that one guy, or they whitewater, like they just pull stuff out. Boners and blowjobs and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. And so that's the reason why, like, I tried to imagine or picture just about everybody up on that stage, and there are two people that I feel like would be the best on stage v. Trump, and it doesn't matter that I think this because they've all either dropped out or they're going to, but I think that Andrew Yang would have been great because he doesn't seem.
I think Andrew Yang would have mostly talked about,
yes,
his own stuff.
Right.
He would have talked about where he sees the country and why he's going to offer the solutions that he's offered. And he also was the only person up on that stage that was saying Trump's not the problem.
Right.
The problem are these large issues that Trump took advantage of.
Right.
So if we keep blaming Trump, then we're not focusing on these larger issues. And his larger issue was automation.
Right.
And people are losing their job and there's economic instability. I think that to me was a novel concept, but he kind of came out of nowhere, and he should be proud of the race he ran.
I agree, but the beauty of that too is even if Trump decides to just go full hog, go after Yang on stage, he would just come off looking really mean in that scenario versus if it's Biden, or if it's because in people's heads they'll be like, oh yeah, this Hunter Biden stuff is pretty weird, or yeah, these things that Bloomberg said once or twice back in the day were pretty bad. Like Yang didn't have that stuff. And not only that, he just kind of had kind of a, well, all right, I've got these ideas, and he was always kind of calm, and he never got too emotionally worked up. And it would just, I think that juxtaposition would have made Trump just seem like an ass. Even to people who like it when he's an ass, it would seem extra assy, kind of like when a bully's picking on a kid, and there's a feeling in the room of, ooh, he shouldn't be. This is no good. Like that was what I was hoping would happen. I don't think we get that with Biden. I think we get more of a and then him yelling if it was Bernie, and it would be a different kind of dynamic, but not necessarily the same. And the only other person I would have put up there and said that it would have made Trump seem mean all the time might have been Buttigieg, maybe. But so now at this stage, if it ends up being Biden, it's just going to be I don't know, dude. It's going to be a slaughter up there. Because he can be a total a-hole with full immunity to being an a-hole.
It'd be the first debate where fists come out. I can just see it.
Maybe.
Well,
Biden would be the guy who'd walk across the stage and...
yeah.
Here's the other thing. Of all of the realistic contenders, so apologies to Aloha Gang supporting Tulsi Gabbard, who might get her first delegate in American Samoa today.
Oh, fantastic. Historic moment there. There you
go. Donald Trump is the youngest candidate running.
I don't like this at all. No. This is he was already too old the last time. We all were sitting around going, oh, we shouldn't start this old. This is no good.
He was the oldest president ever elected, and he is the youngest candidate against Warren, Biden, and Bloomberg.
Wow.
I don't like any of that talk.
That blows my mind that he's younger than Warren.
Yeah, Warren's old.
She is in a lot better shape than he is, but
she really only got into politics like in the mid 90s. She didn't run for office until into the 2000s. I mean, she was a Republican until the mid 90s.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm super. This is all going to be. I mean, I'm seeing this all through your lens, thankfully, because I feel like your lens is the least, or I shouldn't even say the least. You just don't have an agenda. You're just sort of laying it out there, and I need that right now, especially with all this stuff going on and this virus fears on the backs of it, and all of this weirdness going on right now. Just seems insane for an election year. It seems insane. So more Justin Robert Young's out there covering it from his...
No, one Justin Robert Young. I want to monopolize it. I don't need anybody else. I'm the only person doing this. TakePoliticsSeriously.com. Go listen to my juvenile audio documentary. That's it. I'm cornering the market, baby. Nobody else on this corner.
Yeah.
Make sure to check out my new podcast, Politicians.
That's right.
I don't need the generics. I want to hold the patent on this drug.
Well, good luck. No, I really, it's appreciated in this time of turmoil. Is there anything else going on this week you'd like people to check out?
Oh, I'm sorry. I screwed that up. Elizabeth Warren is 3 years younger than Trump. So maybe it's just Biden and Bloomberg of the men running.
I would not have even guessed that it was that close. Jeez.
Yeah,
right.
Of the men running, he is the youngest.
Wait.
And likely within 24 hours he'll be the youngest.
Yeah, I mean, no offense. I mean, if you
we're gonna go ahead and crockpot that opinion and just set it and forget it until it's right.
Yeah, sounds about right to me. All right. Anything else going on you want to mention?
Yeah, I'll be live for most of the day today. I'm only going to take like a 2-hour break in the middle of it. But right after this, head on over to twitch.tv/Justin R. Young. And then from about 3 o'clock Pacific time on into the evening, I'll be streaming politics stuff and then off into Night Attack a little bit later. But other than that, the politics program has been exploding. Now, I'll tell you what, even if you just sign up and then delete, I have no problem with that. I did a great episode with yesterday that is there for Patreon subscribers at takepoliticsseriously.com. It was like a 40-minute episode. Normally these things are like 10 to 15 minutes. I did 40 minutes because there was so much to talk about with all the dropouts, what I think is going to happen on Super Tuesday, and an interview with my mom, who was such a gigantic Pete Buttigieg supporter. She was literally days away from moving a volunteer into her house so Pete could campaign in the Orlando area. Like, that's how hardcore she was into it. And so I asked her, now that Pete's out, who is she leaning toward? You can go ahead and get that answer if you head on over to takepoliticsseriously.com. An over 60 Florida voter. This is a key voting demo.
Right. That's amazing. She's the one. She's a hanging Chad in a world of regular Chads or something. Justin Robert Young, everybody. Justin R. Young on Twitter. We'll see you later.
See you.
He saluted us. Did you see that at the end?
He did. That was nice of him. Plus we deserve it.
Did we deserve it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I may never deserve it.
Totally
truly deserve it. A salute. Salute seems a little much for me. All right. Well done. That was fun. Let's now divert our attention to ending the show. So we're going to be here tomorrow. We'll have all the normal stuff tomorrow, and things are good. I do think I've got Kim talked into doing something fun for PM on Friday. So while Brian's gone, we'll do that.
And Thursday's still a go. We still have 2 more days of regular show.
Oh, yeah. Thursday's good. So, yeah. I didn't mean to get ahead of myself there, but yeah. Tomorrow and Thursday, all normal, all good. Everything's good. And then Friday, we'll see how that goes, but there will be something that day. Okay. I think that's everything. Yes, it is. All right. So let's get out of here. Do you have a song? I should say, sorry. Patreon.com/TMS is our support link. Please go there. Help us out. It is how we do stuff and make things happen. JC Calhoun says, is Skim Till is still a show? Of course it is. I just put up a new episode yesterday. Are you smoking the crack? Of course it's a show. We put up shows every week. What are you talking about? It's up there now. Literally up there now, and there's another one on Thursday. Anyway, Patreon.com/TMS is where you go. Frogpants.com/TMS for everything else. All right, Brian, now do a song now.
Okay. So this isn't a request unless you call it a request from me. Let's call it that. A few years ago at the Nerdtacular event, we had Marion Call as a guest performer. And this is one of her songs. It flies right in the response from yesterday's Babble Royale, where Scott and Brian Dunaway had to name elements. This is a cover, sort of the Tom Lehrer song, The Elements, which is the song that lists all the elements, at least lists all the elements that had been discovered at the time Tom Lehrer wrote that version. This is a version of The Elements featuring elements you don't find on the periodic table, things you find in Marvel Comics and Avatar and The Fifth Element and things like that. So enjoy it. This is The Elements Expanded by Marion Call.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. Oh, okay. Okay there, buddy.